But what we do is when you come around the next time, I'm going to extend it out in this direction. So slowly I'm going to change my group of lines until I get enough lines sketched around that begin to indicate a circular shape. And somewhere within this shape there is a circle. Now this is also called a sketch. Pardon me, sketch. And the reason for, or what a sketch is, as artists all do sketching, is a very light original drawing to kind of map out where you want to be and what you want to do. So you work very lightly. Now, our first sketch shape is a circle, basic shape in cartooning. The next one is a half circle. So what I'm going to do again is I'm going to start out with the imaginary half circle arch, size and placement, slowly bring the pencil down, and then make a sketch of approximately a half circle. The third shape we're going to use is the S shape, which is kind of a combination of these two skills. We're going to start out like this, and we're going to come down, around, back over like this. So again, we're doing the imaginary shape and trying to see the shape on our paper, the size of the shape on our paper. Go back and forth several times, and then finally bring the pencil down and start sketching in your S shape, very lightly, back and forth over the same shape. So we've sketched a circle, half circle, and an S form. These really are the basic shapes of cartooning, and with these three shapes you can create almost any cartoon. One other skill I want you to do when we're doing this, when we did both of these, we pretty much moved in the same circular direction. What I want to do now is get the idea of using both directions, because you want to be able to draw in both directions. And again, this is drawing. It may not look like a cartoon, it may not look like a mountain scene, but this is drawing. It's drawing a line. It's starting from the very beginning. Alright, let's start out again with an imaginary circle. This time I'm going to sketch the circle. I'm going to go around this way a few times, and then I'm going to back up and go the other way. And I'd like you to work with me, or just to practice on your own. Okay, the C shape, the same thing. The imaginary C first, and then we come in, and this one we're going to do back and forth. Now if you remember, we actually did back and forth up here, I just didn't talk about it, and the S shape of course is a very back and forth shape. But it's important to think about that as you're doing these shapes. Now the other thing is we're doing the S shape, and I'm going to move up here and do another one. We've talked about the basic shape. We've talked about how to hold this as an artist's pencil. And we've also talked about moving the whole arm rather than just moving your fingers. The other thing I want to talk about is I want you to feel the rhythm. Let's do an S shape again. And part of doing that S shape, if you're doing this with me, there's a kind of a rhythm, almost like dance, as you move back and forth from one side to the other. And if you think and feel that, you can always begin to hear rhythm, like in music. In fact, this might be an interesting thing to do while listening to music, and pick up the rhythm of the music as you're sketching. Now I'm intentionally increasing the size of the bow on each end as I go, just to kind of get the feel for the change in the different rhythm. So there's a number of things you can do with these shapes. I could decide the next time I come around is put a circle on the end of here, reverse the circle and go back. Okay, what I would like you to do on your own is I would like you to practice when you have time. Maybe you're sitting. This is something you can do, watch a TV program. During the commercials you can do it. Or you can actually do both at the same times. Maybe you will start out with a circle. And as you're doing a circle, that will go into a C shape. Back into the circle, back into the C shape. Just working very freely, lightly, quickly. All right, I might decide to come down and change this into an S shape now. And the part of the thing we're doing here, we're not worrying about making an exact shape. A sketch is a rough plan, a beginning to look for something. And part of it is getting the feel of how the paper and the pencil feel together, the rhythm of drawing the shape, and what that rhythm is like. And even this kind of practice can really become quite creative if you allow it to, because you're just working from one shape to another, getting the feel of the pencil and what you're doing. In fact, if you were working for Disney as a cartoonist, each day before you start work, you would do a practice something like this, just to get your arm in gear, to get the rhythm of drawing, before you start trying to draw a real particular cartoon character. Alright, it's kind of like warming up, like we do oftentimes in sports. Now I can take my C shape, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to one direction, but I'm getting a little bigger each time I come out. Okay, again, just kind of getting the feel of the shape. Or I could make a very light C and then slowly work back and forth across the paper, maybe getting smaller as I go across and slowly getting larger. This is one of the reasons you might want to just use some kind of regular paper. Now I'm going to make the arch go the other way. Maybe I might just put a series of different sized circles in this now, kind of as I'm doing it, kind of looking at it, say, okay, where do I need to put another circle, or where would one look nice? How do I want to tie them together? Maybe I want to tie them all together with a looping shape over here. And just practice working with your full arm, working at the basic things we've talked about, which is using your entire arm, thinking of the rhythm as you're working. Really good. You might even start to move your entire body a small amount as you're drawing. Okay, so part of it is creating the imagination of the shape that you want to draw. And then as you're working with that, bring your pencil down slowly, begin to actually make a mark. And remember what we're doing here, we're drawing in line. The beginning, basic element of art and drawing is line. Well, I hope to see you next time around. We'll go a little further, and instead of just taking and making our practice lines, we'll take those lines and put them together and see if we can't come up with some simple cartoons. So, this is Don Studio at www.donstudio.com. Hope you have a fun time drawing, and hope I see you next time.